Wendy Rochon, in a sport where 30% marks the threshold for success, Wendy played at a premium for the Chaps softball program. She hit better than .500 in each of her 2 seasons, went on to earn 2 All-American honors, and capped her career by leading the Chaps to the National Championship in 2000. She completed her college career at nearby Lewis, leading the Flyers to the National Championship game and NCAA Division II play in 2001, and she later coached college softball in South Dakota, Ohio, and at her alma mater, Lewis.
Wendy Rochon, also known as Dubs, to her friends and her family. Congratulations from me and George on being inducted into the College of DuPage Athletic Hall of Fame. We are very, very proud of you, and this is an honor that's well deserved, as you are one of the greatest athletes to have ever played for me. It's hard to believe that it's been 25 years since our paths crossed. It was the fall of 1998 that I actually met you. And the circumstances were that you went to Purdue University your first year as a freshman, and you tried out as a walk-on for the softball team. And I'll never forget the story you told me. You went out as a walk-on, and the coach was going to post a list on the dugout naming all of the players that she had selected for the team. And all day long, you kept going out to the dugout, and there was no list. And finally, it was dark out, and you had to get a flashlight. And you went out to the dugout, and the list was finally up. And alas, your name was not on it. Well, Purdue University's loss was College of DuPage's gain. You came back home to Roselle, and you transferred to College of DuPage. You signed up for one of my classes, and you came up to me afterwards and said, "Are you the softball coach?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "I'd like to try out for the team." And I said, "Well, we just came off of winning the 1998 National Championship. And of course, we're always looking for new players. And in my philosophy, we're never rebuilding, we're reloading." Well, you came out for the team, and within 5 minutes of watching you hit and field, can't say a lot about your running. You're a smart base runner, but you ran with a piano on your back. But I always said as a coach, I would take a slow, smart runner versus a fast, not so smart runner. But anyway, you became a huge part of our program. A 2-time All-American. I have never had a player in my 27-year career hit over 500 in 2 seasons. And you weren't a huge home run hitter. You were a doubles hitter. You were a spray hitter. You were a smart hitter. So it was a great addition to our team. You became a great leader, a captain. Those are some of the greatest teams I've ever had. We went to 2 World Series, and we capped it off with the 2000 National Championship with the most dominant team I have ever had. It is rare that a team can play in a national championship game and blow out the opponent by such a wide margin. I was able to play all 18 kids in that game, and that was pretty exciting for us. You graduated. Of course, you were a great student. And you went on to Lewis University, where my husband was the head softball coach. And I think we had 7 College of DuPage players who ended up going to Lewis University after playing for me. The umpires and opposing coaches used to always joke, and they'd say, "Deb's the AAA for Lewis University." Well, you also got to play in a national championship for my husband at Lewis University. I'm sure it would be interesting to have a conversation with you at some time to find out how our differences in my husband and I coach. Strategically, we're probably quite similar, but mentally and how we treat people are probably quite different. My husband is pretty laid back, and I always seem to have a little bit of a fire in my belly, but always in the best interests of you guys that played for me. To this day, you remain one of my best friends. Again, I cannot believe it's been 25 years since I first met you. but you still collaborate with me on some sports management projects. We stay in touch. I know if I text you, you will answer me at any moment that you possibly can. And you have gone on to a very successful corporate career. Wendy, George, and I love you dearly. We consider you one of our greatest friends. You're one of the finest athletes who has ever played for us. And I am sure all of your teammates would agree that you were a tremendous person, a tremendous leader, and a great captain. Welcome to the College of DuPage Hall of Fame. Here is the game ball from 2000. Can't see if you can see it, but here it is, the 2000 National Champs with Wendy Rochon as the starting first baseman. Thank you, Wendy. We have loved every minute of our careers with you.
A two-time All-American at first base, as recognized by the National Fastpitch Coaches Association, the Roselle native helped her teams play in 2 NJCAA Championship tournaments and capped her career with the Chaps winning the 2000 title for head coach Deb DiMatteo. She hit better than .500 in both seasons at COD and then completed her career at Lewis University, where the Flyers were the 2001 NCAA Division II runner-up. She coached 2 seasons at Augustana, South Dakota, while earning her master's degree, and then became head coach at Heidelberg for 3 seasons before completing her coaching career as an assistant at Lewis. Please welcome Wendy Rochon.
When preparing for today, I was asked by a former college COD coach what I was going to say. I said I was having a difficult time coming up with things 23 years ago to remember. I can remember the fun times, but I couldn't remember any of the statistics. That coach kindly reminded me that the internet was new and there weren't sports information directors during that time to fact check me. So I dug through some microfiche, if you guys know what that is, and some newspaper clippings to remind myself of a time in my life where I found my passion for softball again. I share that with you because in a moment I'll give you guys a couple stories about that, but I want to thank some people first. First, I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee and Jane Vatchev for putting this amazing event on tonight. Next, I would like to thank Deb DiMatteo for the nomination and for the kind words and flying across the country to come see me tonight. George DiMatteo for giving me an opportunity to finish my college career at Lewis University. I'm among a few who've had the honor of being coached by both DiMatteos. If anyone has ever spent a moment in the presence of George and Deb, you would immediately know how competitive and strategic they are. They have a passion for making people better solely by being in their presence, and they are the kindest people I know. They also have stayed connected over the years and have been moved from coach to family. I wanted to thank my teammates for being a part of a championship mindset that pushed me to work hard. Many are still in touch today and sent kind words this evening. I'd like to thank my family for showing me sports at a young age, giving me an opportunity to play travel ball, even though sometimes we probably couldn't afford it, and we had a hard time coordinating rides to get me to games. And to my spouse for being my today teammate and dealing with all the stories I tell about my days of playing ball that seem like a lifetime ago, and then hearing me grumble through the aches and pains that are left behind. So I want to share 2 brief stories tonight with you about where my passion for softball comes from and when I almost lost that passion. Growing up, my family would head over to Marquette Park in Chicago and and play softball. We would take a clunky wood bat and a 16-inch softball. I'm not sure how a 7 or 8-year-old would be able to pick up the bat or swing through the pillow that was a 16-inch softball. My favorite memory was my dad and I walking dozens of blocks in one direction to a Walgreens or a Woolworth, I think that's what it was called back then, and we purchased a rubber baseball. And then we would walk the several blocks back in the opposite direction to Marquette Park. We would go to an old factory building where they had a spray-painted pitching square on the wall, and we would pitch to each other. And the fun part of it was being the pitcher and the fielder trying to catch the person while they round the bases. This was a highlight for me, so I would try not to foul the ball off onto the roof and end the game. This is where my passion came from. Fast forward a few years later, and I had made a decision that I wanted to play college softball, and I went to Purdue University to walk on. During the tryout process, I was told I would be a catcher in the bullpen, with one caveat: I would never make it to the field. The coach informed me no matter what, no matter the skill level, no matter how well you did, you would never play. After a few weeks of catching for 6 pitchers, 3 to 4 hours a day, I realized I couldn't move my knees, and ice was on every body part. So I made a hard decision to walk away from the game. Since playing was my reason for being at Purdue, I left Purdue in 1998 and enrolled at COD. During my registration process, the registrar had asked me what physical education course I planned on taking. She named a bunch. She was talking about things like weightlifting or meditation or speed and agility, and as Deb already mentioned, I had a piano on back, so I didn't want that class. Intro to softball. I paused for a second. I said, man, this could be an easy A for me. She told me it was a classroom setting on learning about softball. Sign me up. This would be a time was what I did not know. It was the fall league for COD's softball program. When I walked up to the first meeting and I saw former high school teammates, former travel ball teammates, and former competitors, I knew I was right where I belonged. At this point, I had come to terms with not playing competitive softball again. When there were 5 catchers taking reps during practice, I was okay with it. I was just happy to be part of a team again. Coach DiMatteo asked me to come to the office to discuss playing opportunities, and she had asked if I had ever played any other position, but I hadn't since I was very young. But whatever she wanted me to do, I was willing to do, and this is where I started my career as a first baseman. I'd like to give credit to my ability to play first base to my assistant coach, Amy Trench, because if anybody's ever fielded a ground ball from her, you know there's only 2 options: be a great fielder or end up in the training room on ice. The opportunity Deb had given me brought back the passion I thought I lost. I use the word opportunity intentionally. Many athletes today feel a sense of entitlement, that they deserve to be given so much: scholarships, playing time, trophies for being on a team. If more athletes could remind themselves of the opportunities they have been given, such as access to sports, the opportunity to be a part of a team, and the opportunity to represent a school on their jersey, then hopefully one day they can tell stories of coaches that made a massive impact in their lives, teammates that years later can be called upon and resume their role as teammates for life, and the absolute honor I had today to stand here on this stage and share with you because the opportunity I was given to play at COD. Thank you.